Hey, it's Adam from Outlier, and as you can see, I got another guest. We got this Friday NFL Week 5 news and notes as you go into the weekend. First of all, public's been eating, so don't let anyone yell at you for being a square. 33-24 and 3 ATS this season. I see Tom laughing about it. Look, if you're a square, you have been profitable. But a trend that I'm keying in on is actually been with this Steelers and Ravens game. I got family from Maryland, so I got a lot of love for the Ravens. And being from Philadelphia, I really don't like the Steelers. But in this series, the underdog is covered in 11 straight and is 15-1-1 ATS since 2015. So to say that the Steelers are probably going to be a public dog is an understatement. So, but as I said, public's been eating, so who knows? We got a lot of big names that are going to come back this week. Jonathan Taylor is coming back as if nothing had happened. Cooper Kupp's going to play. Everyone's fantasy teams rejoice. Amon-Ra St. Brown gave us a scare this week saying he had an ab problem, and then today he's like, no, I'm good. I'm going to play. Look, it's like 2020 again. Everyone's healthy, and it's great and going out there. So, but look, like I said, I got a special guest. He's one of my good friends, Tom Viola from Unabated. Dude, thanks for coming on to this.
Thanks for having me on. I'm thrilled to be here with you, Adam.
Tom is also a Syracuse guy, just like me. So I play favorites, and that's another reason why he's one of my favorite human beings. But he's a associate director of content at Unabated, real smart, sharp guy. And look, Tom, something that you're very, very versed in is line moves. And I know something that Unabated does really well is make sure that people like understand like why that matters. Can you tell people why like good lines matter, and maybe think about, what people can do if they quote unquote miss the good line? Like, are there two sides to this coin? Like, you have some thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean, one of the best things you can do, honestly, if you miss the numbers, don't bet. Just chalk it up as one. Yeah, you didn't
Admit
get
defeat.
It. Yeah, but it's not defeat because you don't lose any money. You didn't bet.
Yeah,
you're not going to win, but you're not going to lose. And sometimes that's the best play that you can make. But when it comes to any sharp person, anyone you talk to who's been doing this a long time, you'll notice the pattern that they all have. It's always the same thing. It's all about price. Very few people are trying to beat sports betting by predicting games correctly. They're trying to beat the market. They're trying to take advantage of good numbers and bet based on price. And it's the number one thing that you can do as a sports bettor. Like the very first thing that absolutely anyone can do if you want to get better right off the bat, if you're just average Joe making some bets. Sure, you're not trying to make this your living. You're not trying to do any of that. Lord knows this isn't what I do for a living. I work for Unabated for a living. Like that. Like I'm not a professional bettor, but the number one thing you should be doing is price shopping. It's so easy to do. At the very least, if you're just sitting there on Sunday morning trying to bet NFL games, which don't do unless you're playing teasers on Sundays, but don't do it on Sunday. But just have multiple sports books, have multiple places where you can go and say, okay, well, I'm going to take the best possible price. I'm not just going to go to one specific book and just bet with them, because that is the number one way that you are just going to bleed money. And at the very least, if you price shop, if you use this one basic thing from sports betting, you're going to lose money much less quickly. And for most people, that's what you're looking for.
That's really what it is. Actually, I'm glad that you brought up the don't bet the NFL on Sunday. Like, don't make your decision on Sunday. You had Tom, for those watching, which I hope is all of you. Tom has a really good TikTok reel, so I highly recommend you follow him. It's the same name that he has on here. He kind of goes through a lot of different cool tips, and one of them was, this is the most efficient and sharpest market in the world. Don't try to find an edge on Sunday like you missed the boat. So I think that's all like real good advice. Look, don't bet if you can't get the good line. Price shop, which is something that I know we can do. Like, you do really well on Unabated. You can do it really well on Outlier. It's how like you find finding prop discrepancies all over the place. Like the Phillies yesterday were 165 on most books, and FanDuel hung 138. And so I grabbed that because that was like a 35 cent save. And guess what?
Yeah.
They obviously won. So, no, I think that stuff is, what's that?
And I was just going to say, and comparing prices to other books, even if you can't bet at them, it can be a really useful way to know, oh, okay, this price might actually be off, because like you said, FanDuel just had a price that wasn't in line with market there. But if you know which books are sharper, if you know your circas, your pinnacles, your bookmakers that are tending to be sharper lines, more accurate to the market, if circa's hanging a number and it's 3.5 on a game, and everybody else, like if a team is -3.5 at circa and they're -2.5 everywhere else, and I'm just making up numbers here because that's a ridiculous discrepancy, but you can say circa might be the one that's right here, and I should be betting this line before it moves. Like there are indicators that you can use to watch the market.
Nope, absolutely. And actually, that's also like just good advice that, for the folks out there that are novice to intermediate and want to sound smart, bookmaker, circa, pinnacle, look them up. Those are the be all end all of the line. And you and I have said to each other many times, circa went to this and didn't change their line, but everybody else did. I'm sticking with circa. So anyway, with that said, look, we got NFL this weekend. We do have some props. Tom, can you give us a prop that you like this weekend?
Oh man, I hope the squares keep eating here, because I'm making a huge mistake and I already know it, but I'm buying into the hype of 2 quarters. I am going to be taking the passing yards over on Zach Wilson. I am ready to get hurt again. Caesars has it at 201.5, -115 on the over. That's the best price I'm seeing right now. The Broncos defense is bad, man. And I know that the Jets want to run the football, but I liked the game plan that Nathaniel Hackett put together last week for the Jets against a Chiefs defense that is not bad. They might be getting some flack, but they Chris Jones is a fantastic pass rusher, and this Jets offensive line with they reshuffled it after week 1 when Dwayne Brown got hurt. They look a lot better at keeping Zach Wilson clean in the pocket. I think he's going to be able to show us that he can play quarterback. Maybe not elite quarterback, but I think that this is going to be one of the last weeks you can cash in on some Zach Wilson overs. I think these lines are going to start adjusting.
I mean, he was a top 3 pick. For me, I'm sticking with quarterbacks on one of my props. Bryce Young actually under his passing yards. I know you and I texted about this earlier, but right now it's sitting at 213, and hasn't hit this number all season. They're actually only calling 54% passing plays. He's also frankly in danger of being benched soon. And so you're kind of betting against, like, if they decide at halftime that they're going to put Andy Dalton in, you obviously might win this bet. But this team is being bottom. They're bottom in sacks allowed. They're bottoms in yards per play, which is an extremely important metric to knowing the health of an offense. Most importantly, they're bottom in passing yards. And I think this number is probably a little inflated because Detroit has a pretty soft defense secondary. The Brian Branch is pretty awesome. Dark horse rookie of the year if you guys want a future bet. But Bryce Young, like, this hasn't happened yet. It's not. I don't think it's going to happen this week. He doesn't have the offensive weapons to do it. So my first prop is Bryce Young under his passing yards. Tom, do you had another prop for our friends out here?
Yeah, I'm going to go a little dangerous on this one, and it's not a Baker Mayfield reference. I'm playing with fire. I'm taking Najee Harris under 8.5 receiving yards.
Ooh. Talk about a guy who might lose his job to the other guy. I mean,
exactly.
Talk it through.
Like Jaylen Warren is the better back in this backfield. He's the guy who's getting the receiving work, and this Ravens defense is really good. I think that I think that Kenny Pickett is going to be looking to guys like Jaylen Warren in the passing game like he has all season. Najee Harris is the guy that they kind of just pound the rock with on the ground. And again, like you said, Jaylen Warren's probably the better back in this backfield. But when you look at the usages, I think that there's some value to be had on saying that Najee Harris is going to be involved in the passing game here. And plus, it's a 4.5 point spread on this game. I'm hoping the Steelers aren't trailing that much in it. This Ravens team also likes to play a little bit slower. I think that there's going to be fewer opportunities here for the Steelers. And I'm hoping that also plays into it, that they just don't use Najee in the passing game because of that.
He's not the check down back either.
No, he's not.
Get into that situation. And so, like, it's something that for folks to think about, like, when you see a spread that's like more than 3, which is basically trending towards a touchdown is needed for something to happen in this, that means that a team is likely to be trailing at some point, probably by 7 points. So that's pretty much check down city from a play calling perspective. Speaking of check down city, that actually is what I like for one of my for my last prop, which is Michael Pittman. I'm calling it a step stool, not a ladder, but over 57.5 yards at -110, and then over 70 yards at +150. The Colts are going against the Titans, who do not have a good defense. They've given up insane yardage specifically to wide receiver ones. I know Jonathan Taylor's coming back, but I still think things are going to run the way that they are. And look, and if the Colts have been having game scripts where they've been coming from behind, and Michael Pittman's been getting a lot of work. He's actually quietly a 1,000-yard receiver and 100 reception wide receiver, and nobody probably has any idea. He had like 93 last year. But look, Richardson's also coming into his own as a passer over the last couple weeks. Concussion aside, he has his highest QBR last week against the Rams, his highest yards per attempt. Obviously, some of that was in garbage time, but he's improving as a passer. It's a soft pass D, so I like him to go to his favorite target, Michael Pittman. Like the baseline play of over 57 yards. And then because it's only one rung on a ladder, it's really a step stool. Put it up to 70 and you can get a little bit extra out of that. So we gave you guys those 4 props. Also gave you some really, really good information in the supersized episode. Tom, where can people find you if they want to bug you about pretty much anything?
I mean, check me out on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at TV at Work. And of course, head to unabated.com.
Awesome, dude. Thanks for coming by. And everybody, like, subscribe, all those things that you do. Follow Tom. Works with a lot of real smart people. And good luck with your bets this weekend.
Thank you so much, Adam. Same to you.